In this video, I'm going to show you how to make what I call the abundantly lengthy scarf. Try saying that 3 times fast. This scarf is actually over 8 feet in length, and I'll show you how to make it on the knitting machine. This scarf is a color block ombre scarf, I guess you could say. And it's skinnier than the scarves that I usually post on my channel, but I thought the skinniness of it along with the length would give a good look to it. Yeah, 100 inches is over 8 feet long. The scarf, or the yarn for this scarf, is Mandala by Lion Brand. I bought it on sale from Joann's. It's 590 yards, and this is a size 3 weight, which this 40 needle machine loves. So the goal here is to control my color. So what I want to do is make sure my center pull from my second skein and the end of the first skein match. Start out with the waist yarn that is a contrasting color to the scarf. Mine's a size 4, but that's fine. Put your yarn underneath the first needle, and then you're going to go behind the next needle, then in front of the next, behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, in front. You see how this is going? And you're going to do that all the way until you work your way back to the very first stitch. We're back, so we've gone behind the last needle, and now you want to thread your yarn through the feeder, and this machine likes the tightest tension. Now it's time to actually begin the scarf. Cut your waist yarn. Leave enough of a tail so that you could tie a little temporary knot. And then take your mandala yarn or your size 3 yarn and put it underneath the needle, the very first needle, next to where you ended the waist yarn. Then put your mandala yarn through the feeder, through the tensioner, and start cranking away. Look at the long color changes on this ombre yarn. That was why I was excited to turn this into a scarf. You can see that the project is actually touching the table. So when that happens, I just roll it up a bit, so it's not dragging the table while you crank your yarn, while you crank your machine. And that so far is how much yarn I have left. I'm wondering if how many skeins. I don't think I'm going to need all 3. I'm down to the end of the first skein. This is how much yarn I have left. It's not enough to go around again. So I'm going to, look at that, I'm going to pull this apart, unravel it, and I'm going to measure it to see how long it is. And I'm actually surprised to learn that it was already 8 feet with just that one skein. So then you just go ahead and cut your yarn for your scarf. We have about a 6-inch tail, and we need to finish off with the waist yarn. So we're going to do it the exact way that we did it before. You can temporarily tie the 2 yarn ends. We will have to undo those, so I'm not making it tight. Then go ahead and catch the yarn and go around twice. Once you complete the second time around, that will remove the project from the machine. Now you need a crochet hook. I just want to show you, this is the one that came with my 48 needle knitting machine. So if you have one like this, you can use it. But I'm a crocheter, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my handy dandy H hook. But pretty much any size will work. Now it's time to finish off the edge of the scarf. Do you see that stitch right there? It's kind of perpendicular to the other stitches. Oh, first of all, you want to start, see the ends, see the yarn ends? You want to start on the opposite side from the yarn ends. You're going to put your work together and then see that perpendicular stitch? It's perpendicular to the top and bottom stitches. That's where we're going to stick our crochet hook. You're starting under that perpendicular stitch. And then you're going to take your needle, go underneath the closest top stitch, and you're going to pull that through the perpendicular stitch. Then you're left with one loop on your hook, and you're going to take your hook. Now you're going to go into the closest bottom stitch, and you're going to pull that through. And this is the pattern that we're going to repeat. So now back to the top, go through the top loop and pull that through, and then back to the bottom, pull that through, and you're going to just slowly and carefully take your time with this, because you want to make sure you're getting the stitches that are on the outermost. See how they're the outermost stitches? Those are the ones that you're going into. Again, you're back to the top, pull through, back to the bottom, pull through. This is going to give your scarf edge a really nice look, a really professional looking edge. And that's why I recommend doing it this way. Now we're to the end. We're to the end. We have the second to the last loop on our hook. And now you go underneath that last perpendicular stitch. Take your time with it. Go through that last perpendicular stitch. Pull it through. And then you just take your yarn end. Well, first untie it. That's why we just did a loose, just tied it very loosely. So you just untie it, then take your yarn end, pull it through. I'll usually pull it through twice, but that's up to you because you're going to have to hide this tail end in your work. But go ahead and pull that through, pull it down securely, and here you go. Look. And the next step is, see this green waste yarn or whatever color you use, go ahead and remove that. Go ahead and take your time and pull that off of there. And this is what you're left with. Look, look, isn't that pretty? I love this. This is my favorite way to finish the edging on a scarf. It's very pretty. That tail end, just go ahead and weave that in. I don't show that, but just do that with your yarn needle. But yeah, that's how it looks. And so what you want to do, of course, is take your other end and do the same thing.